Hey guys, how you doing? It's time for a over-the-board review. I've got a small gin, and I've had a couple of small gins already. Yeah, I've kind of promised that I'll give you the reports of all of these. So this is me. I'm playing up. I'm playing for Chesterfield B team against Saska B team. And Saska is the Sheffield Area Schools Chess Association, I guess. I'm on board 5 out of 6. I don't know what the result is of the match, but I will share with you my game. So, I've got the white pieces, and I start, obviously, with pawn to e4. My opponent replies pawn to e6, so we have a French. And if you've been following the channel, you will know what I play against the French. So we have d4, we have d5. And now, I mean, what do you get? I mean, e5, so what have I got this set to? I've got this set to 1400. Let's put it up to kind of my level. Okay, so the most common move here is e takes, that's the French exchange variation. E5 is second, which is the French advance. And we have knight to c3, we have knight to d2, we have bishop to d3, and then the move that I play, which is move number 6. Only played in 1 in 200 games, and it is pawn to c4. This is the Diemer Duhm Gambit. Now, the line here is if they take, you push, if they take, you take. And the idea is to get a pawn on d5 so that they can't do this, and when they bring out their bishop to here, you can play queen a5 check and win the bishop. That's the general idea. Now, my opponent, who is a schoolboy, I will say that much, clearly he doesn't really know what to do here. The most common moves are d takes e4, which is played 3/4 of the time, and c6 and knight f6. We don't get any of those. We get the move knight to e7, which is played 0.2% of the time, very rare. Okay, but he plays this move. So, what do we make of this? I mean, clearly the main option is to take towards the centre, and obviously knight can't take because it'll get taken. You might have ed, right? So I do play c takes d5, and I've got my sheet here, so we're going to go through this literally together. C takes d5. We have e takes d5, and now, yeah, I play the most common move now, which is pawn to e5. And this does 51% for white, so we're looking kind of equal. And I haven't got Stockfish running here, so I don't know whether we are better or worse right now, but I have got the book open. And after pawn to c5, this is actually better for black. So c5 is a good move here. My opponent then surprises me again. He moves his only developed piece a second time. He plays knight to g6 on move 5. And this knight actually stays there for a long time and is a bit of a thorn in my side, I have to say. So, I have a bit of a think. We're playing quite quickly at this point, but I feel like, you know, I've got reasonable control over the centre. I've got 2 pawns on E and D. Opponent only has 1 pawn on E and D, but I really need to develop. So knight to f3. And then, wow, interesting. So, most common moves here are bishop e7, c5 again, bishop e6 is played, blah, 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 and c6 and stuff like that. Opponent plays pawn to f6, and that has been played 6 times at this level. Right, it's really rare, 1 in 100. He plays f6, and white here. This position has been reached 10 times at the 1800 and 1200 levels. So most common moves here are knight c3 and bishop d3. Okay, I play e takes f6, which is now a novelty at this level. I decide to capture. So let's have a look. ef here. So knight c3 has won 3 out of 4 games. Bishop d3 has won 3 out of 4 games. Okay, I decide to capture here. I figure that, I mean, how many things can happen? I mean, queen takes is clearly the most obvious. I think gf is, I mean, he's going to end up with weird pawns there. That's not likely to work. So he plays queen takes. This pawn is quite safe. It's defended twice. Okay, but I figure that this is not great because now I can develop with tempo, right? We know this pawn is safe here. It's defended twice, and only attacked once by the queen. I can play my bishop out to g5 with tempo, hitting the queen. This actual position has been seen twice, and it's 50-50, so 1 to white, 1 to black. Both played by 2100s plus. Okay, so bishop g5. Queen now moves across to b6, targeting this pawn. So, take me out of. So, how are we looking? Well, we've got 2 pieces developed. We've got kind of equal pawns in the center. I do have the IQP. This pawn is defended twice, queen and knight. But the issue here is that the queen is now looking down at b2. So there's not really that many ways to defend the pawn. Clearly, I don't want to undevelop my bishop. Don't want to bring my bishop all the way back. So I think the move that I play here is queen to c2. I move 9. Yep. I play queen c2. So I'm kind of looking at this knight down here. I'm defending the pawn at least. Okay. Bishop now brings the... Sorry. Opponent now brings out the bishop to b4 with check. Clearly, I've got several ways to block this. And I now play knight to c3. If he takes, I can recapture and still defend the pawn. This is all good. All right, so where are we? Knight c3. He now plays c6. So clearly I've got a threat here of forking the queen and the bishop. Obviously, actually, I couldn't capture there anyway because that would hang my king, which you're not allowed to do. All right, so how are we doing? So c6. Okay, bishop d3 now. And what I've got now is I've actually got a battery against this this knight. It's defended only once by the h-pawn because the pawn on c6 has now blocked the queen's defense of that knight. So, depending what opponent plays, I could capture here. If h takes, I've got queen takes with check and then a pawn up. So, he doesn't do that. So what he does is he pushes the pawn to c5. Now the queen defends the knight a second time, but this is still all right, and I'm considering this move a lot. Like queen takes, pawn takes. If pawn takes, then he's got very awkward pawns and a very exposed king. Okay. If I take here and queen takes, I've still got queen takes with check, forcing pawn takes. So at this point already, I'm feeling like, okay, we're quite strong here. Okay, so move 11 is over. Now, this is the only mistake that I noticed in the game. because I quite quickly castle. I short castle, but you may see a tactic. So the tactic is knight takes d5, free pawn. No, it's not. It's not a tactic at all. I can't take because my knight is pinned. So that is not really an issue. So I short castle. And now I have actually completed development on move 12. He takes on c3. And clearly I've got choice now. I've got queen takes, I've got b takes. And I take with b. Okay. So my feeling here is that considering that isolated king, I felt like my opponent here really needs to castle. The problem is, if he castles, okay, rook comes out here, I can still really mess up his pawns. Again, if queen recaptures, I've got queen takes, h takes, and he's got double pawns in front of his king. Doesn't look great. But yeah, I actually thought here that I had the option of the fork. It wasn't a mistake because it wasn't a legal move. So I castle. Okay, he takes on c3, b takes on c3, and now he pushes c4. Okay, so this move is still on, but what would you play? What would you play here? Right, so I figure that he he really needed to short castle and get his king to safety, right? He didn't do that. He pushes here. Now, obviously my bishop is under threat, but if I can increase the danger levels, I don't have to move the bishop on the next turn. So I play rook fe1 check. And now castling is tricky because he can't block with a knight here, clearly, right? He can't block with a knight here because I've got rook takes there or even bishop takes, and he still can't castle out of trouble because he'd be castling through check if the bishop is on this square, right? Now, what about bishop blocks? And I figure that with bishop blocks, I had bishop takes knight, and you see, if bishop moves here, it's blocking the queen's defense of the knight, right? So if bishop takes, I've got bishop takes knight check, pretty much forcing pawn takes, and then queen takes, and then his king's got to move anyway, and then I'm going to win the bishop more than likely, unless his king goes here or here. Okay, so I think we're looking all right there. So move 14, and now he plays king d7. So he's lost castling rights. His king is now somewhat exposed out in the open. I think the move bishop f5 check is pretty good. I'm then putting my bishop side by side, creating quite a net there. And I do play, at this point, bishop f5 check. So again, still, I don't know whether this is all good or what's going on. All right, so bishop f5 check. He now goes to c7 because he can't really go. Oh, hang on. He can. If he went here or here, I could probably take out his. No, that's the thing. So if he goes here or here, hang on. Yeah, after this move, then I can probably remove his bishop, right? And then I've got possibly rook here, maybe winning the queen. We'll see. So here would be bad because I take, rook has to take, and then I skewer the king. King has to move. I win the queen. So that's not playable. Okay, so c6 is out. d6. Yeah, d6 isn't great. I mean, this is the point that I could bring my bishop back, but then he takes, so that doesn't work. But he plays this move anyway. Okay, and now I decide to trade off the bishops. Now I'm not. I've got these bishops are the evil twins of Duhm, but I decide to trade off. and he recaptures with the rook. Now, he's got a real problem because this rook and this knight are definitely out of the game. What I would love to do is bring my rook in, but that's not possible because of this annoying knight. This knight that moved twice in the opening and it's anchored by this pawn on h7. So this knight is a bit of a pain, a bit of a thorn in my side here. So, what would you play in this situation? I come up with the move, which I think was pretty good, Queen f5. So, what is the point of this? Well, I can come down to here, to f7, with check. Now, if he comes to... Let me think. So, I mean, obviously there's a pawn there I can win. If I get to play this, he's in check. If he comes to the back rank, I can come back, I guess. No, in fact, from queen here, he can't come here because rook there actually looks like mate. Actually, no. Hang on. So if queen here, he can't come onto the back rank, right? He can't come onto the back rank at all because of my bishop here. He would be in check, right? So if I get in queen f7, he can't stay on this rank. He can't go on the back rank at all because the bishop blocks this only square. So if queen f7, he's going to have to come to one of these squares, and then my rook comes into e6 and the queen is lost. So he can't do that. So what is he going to do? So I actually figured, so we're thinking for a while now, he's used 15 minutes of his time at this point. I haven't quite used 15 minutes yet, and it's a 75-minute game. So I thought the best move for him is rook f7, defended by the knight, creating problems for my queen, who can't come here with check or here with check because of this knight. Okay, so I was expecting this move, at which point I'm thinking, I can't remember what I was going to play. Maybe bishop to here, kind of forcing the knight to check. I can't remember. But he doesn't play that move, interestingly. So he plays the move, queen to d6. So queen d6. Now if I come in, what happens? He just blocks, maybe trades his way out. You know, material is equal at this point. I've actually lost the bishop. No, I'm a bishop. Oh, well, material's equal. He's lost both bishops now. Okay. Anyway. So we are on move 18. And now. So this move with the queen was a bit of a surprise. I feel like I really want to eliminate this knight. Okay. So I thought about knight h4. I thought about knight e5. Both of them create knight tension. But I figured that actually knight e5 was kind of the most forcing. So that is the move that I play. Yeah, so what is this? Move 18. I wrote down knight e4, it was knight e5. Okay. He now develops. This is really interesting. So, so we've got a situation. So I'm kind of threatening the knight here. Okay. He now brings his knight out to c6. And again, remember, material is equal. So what I don't want to do now is I don't want to get into a situation where I allow my opponent just to simplify down, activate his rooks. He's got a relatively solid knight here on g6. The major imbalance in the position here is my king is safe, right? It's there on g1. It's got pawns in front of it. His king is out in the board. What I cannot allow is for both of his rooks to get into the game, and for him to just trade his way out of trouble. And the pawns are pretty normal. Okay, so that's move 18. So here I eliminate the knight. Okay, so he's got two options. He's got pawn takes, he's got queen takes. Again, this new knight now prevents rook e7. Okay, so he plays h takes. Now clearly I've got a check here, and it's all starting to look pretty. So my rook can't come in. I can't take the pawn. I do have queen f7 check. Okay, and that is the move that I choose to do. Right, now now it gets really sharp, and I'm thinking either at this point he's either got to give up his queen, or he's going to get mated. So he's in check now. Okay, now if queen blocks, I've got a bishop check here. Again, I haven't got rook e7 because of the knight. And if the king goes here, then it's it's mate in a couple of moves, right? I play queen g8, I think. No, he can't. No, he can't play king there. He can't play king there because of the bishop. So he's kind of stuck. So, hang on. Trying to think my way through this. So, queen f7 check. So he plays queen d7. Now again, I can't pin the queen because of this knight here. So now I think it's bishop f4 check. Yeah, move 21, bishop f4 check. And now he's in real doo-doo, because this bishop with the check also covers the b8 square. So the king can't just like scurry away into the corner. So what can he do? So the queen can't move because the queen is pinned. The queen can't take because he's in check by the bishop. So the way I see it is if he moves here, the queen is lost. If he moves here, now I have, for example, queen f8. Yeah, with check, and the only move is this, and then it's mate. Okay. But he finds he's really fighting now, and this is like a 10-year-old kid, and he's like all like looking around. He looks really distracted, but he is in a world of pain already at this point. The move that he finds now is knight e5, which actually gives the king an escape square. So I capture the knight. I think king c6 is played. Yeah. And okay, good. King c6, queen takes g6. Okay, so I grab this pawn again with check. Wow. Okay, so he's got check. The queen can't block here because I just take. Queen can't block here because I just take. So I think he's forced now with king b5. Yeah. Now, at this point, I know I've got a couple of options. So I'm trying to think how can I employ my full hunty, like really start to visualize and calculate through a winning finish, because it isn't all that easy. And I know I've got like rook eb1 check, but he's going to come to one of these squares, and then my a pawn is in the way. I mean, my a pawn is actually, preventing mate. If my a pawn wasn't there, it'd be mate. So I also realise I've got queen b1 check. So queen b1 check is interesting. But I think I decide to move my rook to e1. Yeah, so move 20... no. No, first of all I play a4 check. And he can't come to these squares. He can't come there because of the pawn. He can't come there because of the pawn. So the next move is forced with king a5. And now, again, I've got this as an option, but I quite like the fact that my queen is covering this whole sixth rank. So I play rook eb1, and this is not with check. And the threat is clearly a mate here, right, with the queen covering the sixth rank. So he brings his rook up to c6. And now, rook b5 check. And the next move is forced. He has to go to a6. So he really is scrapping. And now I bring my queen down. So I'm trying to think, how do we finish this off? So I'm thinking queen down, maybe queen here, and that would close the net. Okay. He plays rook to b6. So desperate times now. And I just ignore it, because I figure that if he takes the rook, then I can take with the pawn, for example. That's a double check. And he has to go to here. Okay. He has to go sideways. So I don't want to take. I don't want to take, pawn takes, and then whatever I do, you know, he might somehow scurry away. So we don't want that. So I figure I want him to take my rook, because that's just better for me. Okay. So move 28, I play queen b4. And now this would be mate. Okay, but again, he finds a little bit of wriggle room. He takes the rook. A takes. This is double check by the pawn and the king. The next move is forced. King b6. And queen here is checkmate. And that is a beauty. Now, so I haven't analysed this at all. So what we're going to do quickly, and I realise that I'm somewhat inebriated. So I'm going to click copy PGN. Let's go over to our favourite analysis board on chess.com and log in, because I want to save this. Log in, and we will paste the PGN into this. By the way, if you do a computer analysis on Lichess and then try and copy the PGN, it can come out all like corrupted. Okay, so let us go through. So very, very normal French. White is slightly better. C5. Okay, after DE, this is the most common move and it's the best engine move, right? But we tend to do well from there because we push, they take. You kind of bring out the knight and they bring out the bishop. And I have a good win rate with this, winning a piece. Because the knight can't come through to here if there's a pawn on d5. This is the whole point. Now, he plays knight to here. And the machine doesn't like it. It says e takes d5 is best. I play c takes d5. No, now it's... Okay, it's saying just bring out the knight. Or knight d2. Knight d2, knight c3. E takes d5. E takes d5. Interesting. Well, I don't do that. I capture towards the center with my c-pawn. He recaptures. And now black has the tiniest edge. Bishop d3 is the computer move. Develop. I don't do that. I push. Black's good here if he plays c5. He doesn't do that. He moves his knight. Okay. Let's have a sip of gin. Okay, knight c3, knight f3 are both fine. I play knight f3. c5 again is the best move. Slightly here. c5 or bishop e7. Right? We don't have either of those. We have that. All right, now, knight c3, or bishop d3, or ef. Okay, it can't make up its mind. Ef is good. Okay, so we're okay here. Queen should take. She does. Good. Now knight c3, or bishop g5, which is the move I think that I play, or queen b3. Queen b3 here. Why? Queen b3, c6, then bishop d3. I don't know. That's all fishy. All a bit fishy. I play this with tempo. Queen e6 check is the best move. He plays that. So we shall see this in a minute. Now knight c3. Computer says knight c3. It says give up the pawn. If they take, we capture in the center with a king rook fork threat. So all I was thinking about was I have to save the pawn. You don't have to save the pawn if you've got that. Takes, takes. This is defended. That's defended. Okay. All right, so I do this. Bishop g4 is the best move. He plays bishop b4. I have to play knight c3, which I do. He should now castle, right? He didn't castle. He should have castled. He placed the pawn forward. Okay. Now, bishop d3 or bishop e3 or a3 with a kick or h4. It's also come up with now. Right, all of these are fine. I play bishop d3, that's fine. He should now castle, shouldn't he? But it's +2 already for white here. +2 for white. Okay, he should castle or take the knight. He takes... No, he doesn't take the knight. He pushes a pawn. Now, white should castle or capture on c5. I decide to castle because clearly this was not on. I thought it was on. It's not on. Okay, now bishop takes c3 is best, which is what we get. And is it? Whoa. Okay. The best move here for white is d takes c5. Hitting the queen. Curious. D takes c5. Okay, I don't do that. I take this. But we are good. Now, if white castles, it's +2. Sorry, if black castles, it's +2. If anything else, it's +6. Okay? And the best moves are castles, okay, which you seriously should have done here. The next best is king f7. The next best is king f8. He plays pawn push. And now rook fe1 check, which is what I find. And now I'm +7, guys. Again, he should play king here, or next king here, or third best move, king here, which is what we get. Okay, now it says bishop takes g6 is +12.7. I thought about it. Knight e5 check is also good. Third move, bishop f5 check, which is what we play. King c7 is best, good. And now knight e5. Straight away, come in there. No, it's changed its mind. Bishop takes g6, again, is best. Knight e5, and then h4. Okay, I don't do that. I trade the bishops. And now he has to take with a rook, which is what he does. But I am still +5 here. Wow. h4 or queen f5. I play queen f5. I like that move. I was pleased with that move. All this time, I'm also thinking I've got, I can move a rook along and disturb the queen, but that queen is no threat where she is there. Okay. So queen d6 is best, actually. Well done. And now rook e6. This move. Knight h4. Or, no, knight e5. And I play knight e5. Move number 2. And +4. Knight should take here. He doesn't do that. This is now +9. And here, queen f7 check is the move. I don't do that. I trade. H takes is good. Now queen f7. Yep. So this is looking pretty good, man. This is pretty good. And here it's saying he should block. Block with the queen. Queen blocks his best move. Yep. Good. And now bishop f4 check. Yes. Wow. You know what I like about this is a balls out, full hunty attacking game. My opponent didn't play terribly badly. Now here, interestingly, king d8 is mate in 2, which I figured out. Okay. King b6 is just +58 because I win the queen, right? So, but he found the best move. He found knight e5. Bishop takes, clearly. King c6 is best. He plays king c6, good. And queen takes g6 is the best move with check. Yeah, forcing, always look for checks first. King b5. King b5 is forced. I mean, anything else is a forced mate, so king b5. And now a4 check. Oh, loving it. Loving it. King a5 is forced. And now the best move is queen b1. Second best, rook e b1. Or rook a b1. They're kind of equivalent. I play rook e b1. But queen in was... No. They're all good. They're all winning. Okay. Now he should play rook c6. He does. So he's finding some good moves. But it's like he played his early moves quickly. He's got himself in a big pickle. Okay. So now rook b5 check. Yeah. King a6 is forced. Queen b1 is the best. Boom. I think we're going to get a decent eval from this, you know. I really do. Okay, rook e6. What? Rook e6 is the best move, but only slightly. b6 is the second. He plays that, and now it's mate in 3. Because of queen b4. Oh, beauty. Rook takes... Mate. There we go. Okay, can we get now? Okay, game review. Let's do it. Come on. I'm praying for a 1600. 83.9. One great move, one mistake. Come on. 1800. 1800 from me with a gambit against the French and punishing a 10-year-old child. Well, I will take that all day long. I'll drink to that. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. See you all soon.